This is about the exact moment someone realized they completely messed up with you. And the worst part is they didn't realize it while they were doing it. It only hit them after something very specific happened. So choose your pile for me. We have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. There's going to be a bonus message at the end. And of course, as usual, we're going to start with pile 1. So let's get into it. Pile 1, you chose rose quartz. So here we are. Let's get into your reading. Feels like this person pushed you too far. So I get the vibe this person didn't think they were doing things that bad. Like they weren't doing something that bad. They weren't cruel. They weren't yelling, but they were constantly sort of pushing you. Little comments, suddenly dismissive, acting like the things you say didn't matter and taking advantage of your patience. Dismissing you, like acting like anything you said didn't matter. Taking your patience for granted instead of respecting it. This person got really comfortable overcorrecting you all the time, questioning you, brushing things off when you try and bring something that bothers you up. And for a bit, you let that slide. See that? The 8 of Cups and 9 of Wands suggest that you knew it was happening, but you were trying to keep the peace. You're the magician. You're trying to keep things moving. You're not trying to turn everything into an issue, trying to keep the peace, stop the arguments. So in their little minds, that's their dynamic. They're like, I run this shit. You'll speak up, but you won't do anything about it. That's what this energy gives. That's what they believe. So interesting. So there's a moment tied to this here. You said something. Probably not even dramatic. This is Pisces, but you were direct. Like it just came out. You were clear. Instead of hearing you and listening to you, they gave you that same attitude, half dismissive, half, I'm picking up on like sarcasm, like, okay, you're overreacting energy. And normally that's where you would have tried to explain yourself. And this is Pisces and Scorpio, sorry. But this time you didn't explain yourself. You just full stop, no defending, no clarifying, just like, okay, whatever. And it threw them off immediately because that conversation didn't escalate. It didn't get a reaction like they wanted, but it didn't continue either. And here's Gemini. You just weren't participating. So this is them feeling that right away. So they thought this was temporary here. The Queen of Pentacles suggests that they thought you would message them again. You would bring it up again. That you would try and smooth things over like you usually do. Or did, rather. But the 3 of Swords shows that you did not do that. And it hit them. It wasn't all at once, though. I have Aquarius here trying to pop out. So this is them replaying things in their head. Thinking of, oh, what could I have done differently? That's the 3 of Wands suggests. Because nothing huge happened here. There's no huge argument. It was literally just you saying one thing. Just, but something to them like was shot. And it was super uncomfortable for them. They're like, oh, they're actually not going to come back to fix this. This is what they're thinking. They could be a Leo as well. Because the 3 of Cups suggests that they thought your patience was permanent. They thought that they had so much wiggle room with you. More chances, more time, more access. And now this is them, 6 of Swords. They used up that space. They wasted it. And now they're in this shitty water all by themselves. So King of Swords, interesting. This is showing that it hits their ego first. So this person doesn't like feeling like they lost control in the situation. They don't like that you, the high priestess, decided to call the shots, that you decided to call it enough is enough. I'm done. But under it all, King of Pentacles, there's regret. Not loud, not dramatic, just like, okay, this is creeping realization. I have this here. I misread them. Now what? They thought you would just always be keeping this connection alive. But now they're realizing, look, 5 of Cups. You chose to look at all your options and all of your cups were empty. So you stopped choosing them and you filled up your own cup. Do you see that? Because now when they think about you, they see you. You're not overreacting. I didn't take them seriously until it was too late. And look at all these options that she has. And the Page of Wands. They knew that there was a line, but they didn't think that if they crossed it, they would lose anything. You know what I mean? Let's take a little coffee break here. Okay, so let's see what's actually really bothering them right now. So what's really bothering them now? Okay, here's Sagittarius. Okay, Page of Cups. So it's the silence that's bothering them. They can't stand it because at first they told themselves you just needed time. Here's Libra. They assumed you would just need time to cool off, cool your jets, and then come back the way you always do. But they didn't rush to fix it. See the Chariot? This is also Cancer. This is them not reaching out to you. They thought they could give you space, thinking that that was the right move, but you just left further. Do you see that? 10 of Wands. But a few days go by, then a few more days go by, then a few more days. No message, no check-in, no change in your energy. There's Capricorn here. And that's when they started watching you more closely. They're checking if you're active. They're trying to see if you're with anyone else. Checking to see if you're online. Trying to see, like, is she still liking other people's posts, just not mine? That's what the Page of Swords suggests here. That's their intentions here, is to keep tabs on you. They feel like they were removed. The 7 of Swords suggests they were considering reaching out casually, but they weren't going to address what happened. They were going to kind of just slyly go open through the door. You see how he's sneaking through? But even that feels different now because you got Virgo here and you got communication. So this person has no idea what version of you they're going to get because they think you've completely changed. Because before, this was you, 7 of Wands, being soft, chill, just zen. But now they feel like they know nothing about you. That's what the 10 of Cups suggests, that something's changed. So instead of reaching out right away, they sit with it, you know? The Hierophant, this is Taurus, replaying convos in their head. Do you see that paired with the Ace of Swords? They're not just looking at what you said, though. They're looking at how you said it, the tone, the lack of enthusiasm, the lack of reaction. This is you. This is them with an internal conflict late at night, thinking about why doesn't she give a fuck anymore? Thinking about you. This wasn't about you being upset. They realize it. It was you being done. Here's Aries. And that realization's super uncomfortable to them because they're aware now that if they do come back, they don't get to come back the same way. They don't get the same patience that they did or the same effort. Let me pull you a few love oracle cards. Let me grab them here. All right. Yeah, so this person's realizing like they don't get that like soft, patient version of you anymore. Let's see here. And it's painful. Do not put up. So this person's stuck in this space of, did I just lose this completely? Or is this something I didn't take seriously? And the honest answer is yeah. Because it wasn't about that one moment. It was about everything that led up to it. And you just finally stopped absorbing it. So, wow, that was heavy. Follow us into another pile if you want to get some more clarity, or check out the bonus message at the end. It's just for you. Bye. Pile 2, you chose the Amethyst. This is all about your spiritual growth and clarity. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, hold up. This feels like they didn't lose you by accident. They literally chose someone else over you. Okay. Whoa. So at the time, it made sense to them because the person they chose over you felt easier, less expectations, less pressure from this other person, less need to actually like be a good person. Like this person they chose accepts the bare minimum, but with you, you have standards. So yeah, you pay attention, you notice shit. You're the high priestess here. You expect to be treated as an equal. And instead of meeting you there, this person, they lean towards someone else. They lean towards someone who didn't expect much of them. So there's like a specific situation tied to this, you guys. So this could have been them actively like entertaining some other person, replying faster to other people, showing up more for other people. Like, what the fuck? Being more like engaged with others as well, while pulling back from you. And you see they have page, very immature and in their own world. Or like even something like you messaging them and their responses were just getting slower, shorter. Overall, less effort from them. But at the same time, you could see they were still freaking online. Or literally, you're right there with them. You can see them talking to this other person, talking, engaging. You notice. But instead of chasing, my girl, you pulled back. You stopped overgiving. You stopped being as available. You stopped like making them feel comfortable. This is Aries here. And then that made things feel easier for them. And I feel like you had a little bit of regret. There was no confrontation. You didn't make them face anything. And you kind of were like, shit, I should have called them out. So then it continued. They continued leaning into that other person, that other girl, whatever, thinking this is fine. But that realization didn't hit when they were choosing it. It hit after they were already like deep in the relationship. Because whatever they chose didn't feel the way they had expected it to. So at first, this felt super exciting, obviously. New attention, new person, new energy, like fun, new relationship, right? Honeymoon stage. But over time, something started to feel a bit off for them. So the conversations didn't go anywhere. It was like surface level. There was no mutual effort. There was no consistency. There was no adventure. There was no little things you guys did. There's this conversation that feels like it's just boring, you know? There's also a situation where they felt unprioritized by this person. And now they realize that they're putting in more effort than this other person. So it throws them off because that's not how it was with you. They were expecting it to be the same as with you. Here's Leo. So with you, things had meaning. Things had deepness. You showed up. You were present. You didn't make them question where they stood with you. And now they're in something where that's missing. And that's when the comparison starts. Not intentionally. It just happened. Did I tell you there's Leo here? So this person will be mid-conversation and feel like there's something lacking here. Here's Cancer. And they'll notice how they're being treated and they're going to think to themselves, this isn't how it was before with pile 2. And here's Scorpio. And all of a sudden, you're back in their mind again. So that's their realization. So what makes them uncomfortable, though, is they can't say it just didn't work out. They chose someone else. They they stepped away from you, and it was actually good what they had. Here's Aquarius. And now they're feeling what they chose. So emotionally, this causes a regret. Because every time something feels off where they are now, they circle it back to you. They're like, oh, well, it wouldn't be like this with pile 2. So now when they think about you, it's not just what you had. Here's Taurus. It's what they gave up. And Gemini. Let's see. What else is there? So what really, really gets them going, here's Hermit. Here's Virgo. Is when the excitement wears off. Because in the beginning, what they chose felt distracting enough. Enough to not think about you. Enough to feel like they made the right call. But enough doesn't last. So here, your shadow card here is Sagittarius. So the attention they're getting doesn't feel like as solid as you. So they start noticing there's inconsistencies. Let me pull you some love oracles here. This person's getting like mixed signals, lack of effort. It's literally they're being treated the way they treated you. And they're finally realizing that. Because now they're on the receiving end of the shitty stick, and they want out. You might have blocked them. So they're going to reach out to you. You might not reply in the same way, though, or they might try and make plans with you and it doesn't get followed through. And you're like, why are you reaching out to me? You're with someone else. Or they realize that you're not waiting for them and they don't really like that. So they're not used to that with you. They're not used to you being busy, for you putting them second, And I feel like this person also treats them like that. Like the person that they're with is also giving that same treatment. They're on no one's priority list anymore. So that's why you're circling their mind over and over again. It's not like causing them emotional distress at first, but it's like in their head, they're comparing how things felt with you, how you responded, how you showed up, how consistent you were compared to what they're going through now. And it creates this like weird, like feeling in them because they're aware of the distance, but they can't stop staring at it. It's like a bad car accident, So they're going to think about reaching out to you more and more. And it's not going to be like them saying, I love you, I'm sorry. They're going to test the waters. They're just going to see if you'd respond like you used to. But even that feels weird. It's like, I'm too busy. Because they know how they moved. They know that you saw it. They know that now you're the Empress here. And they don't think you're going to be as open as you were before. So instead of acting on that right away, they hesitate. And that hesitation tells them everything. It's before you were someone they could just come back to easily whenever they wanted to. But now they're not sure that door is still open. And that's where their regret seeps in. It's not just because they miss you, but it's because they understand the role they played in losing you. And the more time that passes, you guys, the more they realize it wasn't just another option. It was a downgrade. They downgraded and they chose that. Ooh, my God. Okay, follow us to the bonus collective message at the very end, or follow us to pile 3 or 4 if you're interested, but I'll see you there in the bonus. Okay, bye. Pile 3, welcome. You chose the Onyx. This is all about protection, things being a bit muddied for you. This person got used to being forgiven for shitty behavior. That's the core here. This person wasn't careful with you or your feelings because they didn't feel like they had to be. This person knew that you understood them. They knew you were patient. They knew you could see their side even when you were hurting, even when they messed up. So over time, they started relying on that, not consciously, but enough that their behavior got a little bit more careless. Tower. This person would say things that they shouldn't. They'd pull away. They'd give you the silent treatment like nothing happened. No apologies. They would cross those freaking lines with you and then just smooth things over later like nothing happened, or not even talk about it. And every time you gave them that space to fix it, you heard them out. You tried to see where they were coming from. Look, there's Aries and Capricorn. This is you letting things go that you shouldn't have. The Tower with the Wheel of Fortune, you just kept going. So in their mind, this became the pattern. They're like, that's fine. If I mess up, it's okay. They're always going to be here anyways. There's a very specific situation tied to this, though. Check that out. This could have been them like disappearing for a few weeks. Acting shady, doing something that didn't really sit right with you, and then coming back like it was fine. Like the fact that they went no contact was fine. Yeah, that's right. That's them leaving. No contact right here. See that? Yeah, they're crossing that line, then expecting you to hurry up and get over it. They could have even said that to you. Get over it. But this time you didn't. You're like, fuck that. I'm not getting over it. I'm a freaking boss here. That's you. And you've got... This is you not trying to understand it from their side at first. Aquarius, Pisces. You didn't rush to fix the tension. Nope. You just held your ground. You're like, no, I'm going to fight you. You know, and that threw them off immediately. Because they were expecting the usual version of you, but you made them carry their own shit. Do you see that? You weren't meeting them halfway anymore. You're like, take your own garbage. Take your own drama. I'm not carrying your drama. I'm not carrying your baggage. You stayed where you were. And it forced them to sit and realize, oh God, I have no other options. Gemini. At first, they thought you were just upset, that you needed time, that you were actually really pissed off this time. You were going to come around like you always did. That's you coming back. But you didn't. Not all. They realized it, but like not all at the same time, but very clearly. So here's Taurus. They realized, they're not letting this go. They thought your understanding here meant you were flexible, that you would always come and offer the olive branch. No matter what happened, you would find a way to make it work, even if you made yourself look like a fool. And now they're realizing you chose not to this time. Emotionally, this hits them in a very specific way. They feel the loss of being in control of the relationship, of the dynamic, you know. Here's them making decisions, but they don't have anyone to reflect the decisions on anymore. This person can't just come back and expect things just to reset anymore. And it makes them kind of look at their behavior differently from a different perspective. And it's not them coming across as defensive, which is nice. It's more like, in a way, did I push her too far this time? Magician. This person's starting to replay what happened between you. They're like, wait, was I too disrespectful kind of way? They're starting to replay like what happened over and over. Where did I cross the line? Shit. What did I do? They realize like what they thought was fixable kind of like can be broken. You know what I mean? Like it has a limit. So now when they think about you, it's like this. They think about you with guarded emotions. You're not making it easy for them anymore. And that's what makes this feel really scary for them. Because they're understanding that your patience was like an endless cup. And there was like an overflowing cup. It was something that you were literally choosing to give. And you have your own friggin' limits too, you know? So now you're not giving anymore. You got Libra here. And the new here. So something really settles in for them here. The sun is a new beginning. So your silence after they reach out to you and try and smooth it over. Because, okay, so they're going to come and smooth it over in like, I mean, a small way. And they're going to act normal, send a casual text, or like send you food, send you flowers, trying to move past it without fully addressing what happened. Then they get the silent treatment from you, or just like no, like it's okay from you. This person gets very worried. Ace of Pentacles. Let me see if I can get you some love oracle cards. Hang on one sec. Okay. Yeah, so I feel like when they made their big grand apology, you didn't say it was okay. Like you didn't try and make them feel better. You didn't try and smooth it over. You're just like, no, like it's not okay to treat me like that and I'm over it. And they're like, why isn't this working? Yeah, and it's causing them to be really upset. Because this person's used to things going back to normal with you. And they're actually really stressed out about this at nighttime. And now you're not meeting them at all. And it's forcing them to sit with something they've been actually avoiding. And I think that's something that they've been avoiding is accountability. This person is finally realizing that what they did changed something. There's also this moment where they're considering saying more. I feel like they're even typing up a text in their notes to say sorry. And even that, though, feels uncertain to them because they don't know if it's going to fix it this time. And before, they felt confident that they could come back, that they could smooth things over with you, that they could, I don't know, they felt like they knew you. And that lack of like certainty, confidence in the relationship shakes them up because now they realize that they've just been assuming that you'd always be there, that you'd always stay, that you'd always work with them, that you would always give them that room to smooth things over. But now they see what it looks like when you're put your foot down and you're like, I'm fucking done. Like, that's what you're saying. Like, I'm done. And I don't even think you're repeating yourself saying that. You're just saying it once, blocking them. Like, I'm surprised you didn't get the I'm blocked card. So the more time that passes, the more real it gets for them. The more they understand that this wasn't just another situation they could manipulate and pull their little puppet strings. This is the moment where that pattern broke. And it broke because you stopped allowing it. Woo! Pile 3. I wouldn't want to fuck with you if I was them. Follow us into pile 4 if you guys are interested. Otherwise, check out the bonus extended message at the very end of this entire video. We'll see you there. Bye. Pile 4, welcome. You chose the clear quartz. This is all about getting clear about something. So this is all about... There wasn't a big fight, no dramatic conversation. It just kind of faded away. This person got used to like you always being there in the background. You not always talking, not always close, but still there. Ooh, starting off hot. Scorpio, Capricorn. So when things like got a little weird between you guys, they didn't question it. They just thought everybody was busy. But the energy, like, just thinned out, it feels like. Cancer. Ooh. So this person just let it happen because to them, it didn't really feel like an ending. It just felt like a chill. Here's Sagittarius. It felt like something that would just naturally pick back up later. Like There's a specific pattern tied to this one. They take longer to respond, sometimes not even responding at all. There's Pisces here. And then they come back chill like, oh, it's fine. I was just busy. I was just showering or something for like 5 hours. And for a bit, you took that. You took that shit. You didn't push. You didn't force conversations. There's you. That's the magician. You weren't chasing for them to be accountable or consistency. You just started moving back. This is you, high priestess. And that's where they started to notice things. So instead of filling the gaps like you usually do, or, filling the silence, you let that distance just stay. You stopped initiating as much. Here's Libra. You stopped checking in. You stopped answering them whenever they wanted to talk. You know what I mean? The Hanged Man. So they didn't register it at first because everything still felt normal, still felt the same. There was no like big argument or like you didn't tell them what you were doing. So in their mind, nothing was really wrong until more and more time passed, more and more weirdness went by, more and more silence passed. And that's when the realization starts. There's Aries here too. It wasn't in like one big moment. It was like one. So it's not in one big moment. It's just a bunch of small little micro moments. They go to message you, 9 of Cups here. And they chill and they realize, wait, it's been like a lot longer than I thought last time we talked. 6 of Cups. They check your name. They check the date. They notice that there's no recent conversation. And they're like, okay, this is weird. 7 of Arrows. I'm going to reach out, but it's been too long. I can't really do it because it's been way too long. 10 of Wands. That's when it hits them. This hasn't just been like quiet. This has been like low key loud because when it stopped, it was done and they just didn't notice it because there was no fight. There was no closure. It was just, I'm freaking done. They didn't catch on to it though. The Hierophant. This is Taurus. But now they're seeing that silence wasn't ending. Gradual silence anyways, because the 4 of Wands. 5 of Pentacles shows that it's a different reaction in them that's not really like super sharp. And it's going to build over time. You have Aquarius and Gemini here. So they have no one to point to and say what went wrong. They're just slowly growing and realizing that you're no longer in their life the way you used to be. And they start questioning it. The Sun, 9 of Pentacles. They're like, when did it change? Why didn't I notice sooner? That's the 9 of Wands. We have Virgo here and Queen of Wands. They're like, could I have done something? But by the time those questions come up, the distance is already there. And now, look at that, 10 of Wands. When they think about you, it doesn't feel like unresolved. It feels like not available anymore. You have Leo here. It's something, they feel like that you guys broke up and they didn't even realize it because there was no warning. 8 of Pentacles here. Page of Pentacles suggests that there was just absence, So what really settles in for them is the Ace of Wands and 7 of Wands. It came natural to you. And to them, it was like, oh, my eyes are wide shut. It just feels temporary. They can reach out whenever they want. Nothing's changed. But they don't act on it because they think they have all this time. Queen of Cups. And then when they put it off, the Tower, I'll message them later. And then more and more time passes. Queen of Arrows, that's you. So now it feels like they can't even reach out without it being awkward because they're aware that there's this gap now in the relationship. They're aware that it's been a while. See that King of Wands? That hesitation wasn't there before. 5 of Wands. They're going to open your chat, scroll a bit, look at old messages. And they realize how different the energy used to be between you guys. How you guys talked way more often before. How easy it used to feel. How natural it was just to reach out and say whatever the hell they wanted. But now It's like they're thinking about it way too much. And that alone tells them something's changed. Like the fact that they have to second guess what they say to you, oops. And so it's like they see you somewhere online through someone else, or just like active in a way that reminds them that they're still in your life, but they're not important. They're noticing that you just moved forward without making it obvious, They're realizing that your life just continued and they weren't part of it. So that's where it's real for them. Because up until then, they felt like they could always just take that connection back if they wanted it. So now they're not sure. Now it feels like something they let slip, they lost. See that? Wheel of Fortune and 8 of Arrows. That's them realizing they lost it. And it's heavy for them because there's no moment to fix. 3 of Swords, that's the broken heart card. There's no conversation that they can replay. They don't know what happened. They just realize that there's no point, there's no exact moment they can fix things. And now they're sitting with the understanding that they didn't lose you in some big dramatic way. They lost you by not paying attention while you were slowly pulling away. And by the time they noticed, you were gone. Bonus messages next. Stick around to see if you have anything there. Welcome to the bonus message. If you're here, there's something for you. So the way they think about you now is a lot quieter in their mind, but it's a lot more real to them. You're not something they're actively dealing with anymore. You are something that they reflect on. It's not constant, but it's like you pop into their head in certain moments. When something feels off in their life, you are the first person they think of. When they notice someone treats them differently, they think of you. When they think about someone who's stable, who's consistent, who puts in effort, that's you. That's who they think of. And it's like very matter of fact in their mind. Not emotional, not dramatic, just clear. You got Gemini and Capricorn already. They see you as someone that has lots of value, someone who showed up in ways that they didn't fully appreciate at the time. Here's Libra. So the part that sits with them the most is this. They can't go back and experience you the same way again. Here's Leo. Not because you're gone in a loud way, but because they understand that version of you existed back then in a specific context. And they fumbled you. So now when they think about you, it's not about what could happen next. It's about what already passed, what they lost, and the quiet realization that they understood all of that way too late. Thank you so much for spending your energy with me. I'll see you in the next reading.